name is David Pascoe. Welcome to this Homespun lesson all about crosspicking. Today we're going to look a little bit at the history of the technique. We'll have a little bit of a conversation about what it is. So there's a few different definitions swirling around there. And then we will give everyone a few beginner to intermediate exercises and applied examples so we can incorporate this into our playing. Now, the most emblematic sound that we're going to associate with this technique is going to be a 3-note roll. I'm going to take my 3 strings, D, G, and B. So I'm looking at my 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. And if I just keep an alternate picking pattern, we'll get more into that in a little bit, and I play those 3 strings starting from my D as a set of 3, and then do that again. We're taking this 3-note roll and we're trying to apply it to most songs that we're going to be playing this with. We have to start thinking about 8th notes. If each one of these is an 8th note, and we have a 3-note pattern, well, you can see where this is going. We're going to have to adjust at some point. So this forward roll, if we're loosely copying a banjo forward roll, which is going to be D, G, B, D, G, B, D, B. Here's Whisky Before Breakfast cross-picked. I'm going to play it swung for this kind of loping quality, and I'll count us in nice and slow. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... entire B part one more time of Whisky Before Breakfast at a moderate tempo, so you can play along and see if you can digest a few more of those moves. 2, and 3, and 4, and... Alright, so we're going to have one more fiddle tune to exemplify a little bit of what we've talked about with our different 3-note patterns. This one is St. Anne's Reel. It's real popular in the Celtic traditions and is played also a lot in bluegrass nowadays. And again, we're just going to take a couple of choice moments and see if we can flesh out some of the spaces that the tune provides. So if I were to play the A part, dry, so to speak, we'd have... tune, right, will sound the same until we make it to here, and we're going to have a hammer-on coming from our open D string. We have an up pick at this moment, and we need to remember we're going to do a G major example here. So we're going to have our same 3 strings. We're going to have our 4, 3, 2 strings, or our D, G, and B, and we're just going to have all 3 of those open for our G chord. For our C chord, we have the C we just used from our other example. And then for our D chord, we're going to actually take this same sort of shape and we're going to move it up to here. So I'm going to have our open strings for G. Those will be our G notes. Our C notes will be our D notes. And back to G. I want to take a different time signature and see if we can apply some of these cross-picking ideas to a waltz. If I'm going to play out of a G shape, I'm going to give us a kind of straight example before we cross-pick. I'm going to go G, C, back to G, and then G, D, G. We can take a little bit of a cross-picked pattern that's not, again, quite a forward roll or a backward roll. I'm going to break it down nice and slow. So if I start off this whole kind of progression with a regular, instead of my second boom chuck, or boom chuck chuck in this case, I'm going to add in a little bit of a cross-picking arpeggiation. So here's my first one.